Have you ever felt like the world has forgotten you? Like you're standing in the shadows, watching others be celebrated while you're left in the dark? Maybe you've faced rejection, betrayal, or pain, and you find yourself questioning everything, especially the promises that seemed so clear, so vivid. You're not alone. Even the greatest king of Israel, David, experienced this tumultuous journey. Imagine being the least in your family, the one nobody believes in. David was that forgotten son, the one left out in the fields while his brothers were paraded before the prophet Samuel. Picture it. In 1 Samuel 16:6-13, Samuel arrives to anoint a king, and David is nowhere to be found. He was out there tending sheep, while the world around him was about to change. Can you relate? Have you ever felt overlooked, as if your contributions go unnoticed? That's the story of David, a young man chosen by God but left in the shadows of his own home. But it doesn't stop there. After being anointed, David didn't step into a palace. Instead, he found himself hiding in caves, living on the run. 1 Samuel 22:1-5. God had promised him a kingdom, yet he spent years in exile, away from the promised land. He lived off the land, occasionally working as the neighborhood watch for meals and even raiding sacred bread in the temple to feed his companions. And at one point, David had to feign madness, spitting and drooling out the side of his mouth, just so King Achish of Gath would leave him in peace. 1 Samuel 21:10-15. How many of us have felt that disconnect? We hold on to God's promises, yet our reality seems to scream otherwise. David's story reminds us that the path to greatness is often paved with trials and tribulations. And then there's betrayal. David's mentor, King Saul, turned against him, consumed by jealousy and fear. The very man who once lifted him up became the one who hunted him down. 1 Samuel chapter 18:10-11. Can you imagine the pain? The weight of betrayal from someone you looked up to? It's a wound that runs deep. And if that wasn't enough, even his wife, Michal, mocked him during one of his most vulnerable moments in 2 Samuel 6:16-23. David worked as a bodyguard, a protector for a king who sought to kill him in 1 Samuel 28:2. It's a paradox, isn't it? The anointed king, reduced to a mere bodyguard, living in constant danger from his employer. Life can be cruel, and the journey to our destiny can feel like a relentless uphill battle. But life isn't just about external struggles. It also brings family tragedies that cut to the core. David faced unimaginable heartache. His son Absalom rebelled, and in the end, he lost him. His daughter Tamar was violated by her brother Amnon, and the fallout led to a cycle of revenge that tore their family apart. David's household was a battlefield, and as a father, he bore the weight of that pain. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, in 1 Chronicles 22:8, God himself delivered a verdict that stung. David was not qualified to build the temple because of the blood on his hands. Imagine being told that your past disqualifies you from your greatest calling. How would you respond? David's answer was profound. In the midst of his suffering, he prayed, "Create in me a clean heart, O God." He didn't lash out. He didn't wallow in despair. Instead, he sought transformation. He understood that despite the rejection, the pain, and the betrayal, what mattered most was his relationship with God. Like David, we may face rejection, suffering, and betrayal, but we have a choice in how we respond. We can choose faith over despair, humility over pride, and a desire for a clean heart over bitterness. So, if you're feeling overlooked, remember David. You may be in the cave right now, but God sees you. He knows your struggles, your heartaches, and your dreams. Hold on to that promise. Seek a clean heart and let that be the foundation for your journey ahead. Your story is still being written, and the best chapters are yet to come.